Alrighty. Good evening, everybody. Hello, and welcome aboard to the ARC Lounge stream, the final stream before this election. It feels like a long time coming. This election has felt like the longest. It feels like it's 8 years rather than a 4-year cycle, but it will be over soon this week, finally. So let's just talk about just a couple things about what's on the ballot. Maybe if you have any transit in your ballot, in your local elections, or anything that you want to talk about, that's what we're here for. It's an open forum. We're here to opine. It's a Sunday evening. It's a day of rest. It's time to chill. So let's talk. We'll be here for an hour or so. So hopefully you guys will be all well and good to go. Alrighty. Let's bring on everybody over here. Let's bring on David, then Minor Tree, and then everybody else, and just have a nice there we are. First time on YouTube. We're working. Nice. Here we go. Okay. YouTube title card is wrong. I don't know what's going on with the YouTube title card, but let's go ahead and fix that. Hey there. How's it going, David?
Nothing much. I got home from work about an hour ago.
All right.
Been busy today. So how have you been?
Good. I mean, it just hey, at least a good thing. We got our government mandated hour that was stolen before some months ago. We got that back. So hey, we got an extra hour of rest today. So
Oh yeah.
can't complain. But hey, it's Sunday and the week is looming on, and this week is looming to be a bit more stressful than most. Let's be honest.
2 days ago. Also, me and the wife's wedding anniversary in 19 days.
Sorry, I couldn't hear the last bit. Gonna be what?
Me and the wife's wedding anniversary.
Oh, anniversary! Oh, fantastic. Happy anniversary to you guys.
Still got 19 days to go.
I know. Hey, that's going to be time flying, man. It's going to be, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5, 10, 20. That's how life is.
Actually, for me and Belle, it actually our 4-year wedding anniversary. So that coming up along pretty crazy.
Yeah, man. Shoot, time flies. I remember when you guys were first dating before, and that was wow. Anyway, let's go ahead and bring everybody else on here. Minor Tree, let's bring him on. Yeah, it's gonna be a chill stream, guys. About 9 o'clock, we're gonna start. We'll start closing things a little bit earlier so we can be out 9 o'clock. So I got work tomorrow, as probably a lot of you guys have. Come on. It's not like I have the week off. I mean, I got to work. Something's got to pay the bills. Something's got to pay for this this medical insurance, so I can go to the dentist this week, which will be on funny enough on Tuesday. So I don't have to take the day off. It's what happens when you don't go to the dentist for 6 years and then you need a deep cleaning. But hey, I mean, all my teeth are there, and I still, 31 years, streak, no cavities. Okay, for all my life, still no cavities.
Oh, you're kidding me then.
That's why drinking water and keeping myself healthy and fit. So anyway,
Got a complete interesting article right here talking about commuter rail.
Let's go ahead and bring that up on here.
And it's correct.
Here we go. Yeah, for some reason, trains. The thing is with trains.com, for some reason, I've already gone ahead and I've resubscribed and all that sort of stuff. It keeps asking me to sign in. I've signed in multiple times and it doesn't. So they just basically took my money, and well, at least I still get the magazines. But regardless, archive today it is. So for those of you who don't know, if there's any sort of articles, and I didn't say this, it just happens to be, if there's any articles that need to get past the paywall, archive.today. But speaking of those,
Wayback Machine.
Yeah, before they start.
I'm just saying, legally speaking, I'm telling you they exist. I'm not telling you to use them.
Yeah. But
Maybe.
anyway, speaking of stuff that we have, that somebody sent me an archive link. I received this archive link over the internet. Speaking of trains.com, Miami Aventura commuter rail project advances to engineering phase. So something local in my old stomping ground. It's still local with my brother and my family. So I mean, look, I'm always going to be 305 till I die. That's just what it is. And hey, look, it's when it comes to Brightline, that's the only bright spot that we have in this country in terms of really bringing robust passenger commuter rail and high-speed rail to this country. I mean, look, they're going to get high-speed rail in California before California's own project does. Okay, that would be hilarious.
Well, if that happens, I just want you to invest into some good batteries, a good camera, and get some good footage of all the crying people complaining that California high-speed rail can't get their stuff together.
No, well, they can't, so it has to be Brightline that has to get it done. It has to be a Florida company that has to get it done in California. Which, speaking of California, look, water. Oh, something you guys don't really have too much of. Oh, it's too bad. We have plenty of it down in Florida. we have a whole river of grass for you guys to drink on.
Well, California's got plenty of water. They just won't give it to those in the countryside and their farmers in order to make the food that makes the whole state money.
Yeah,
they have to give it to the cities that are giving away all the drugs.
And you know what's the crazy thing? I was researching about the LA Aqueduct, the William Mulholland project. That it took them 5 years to build that, about 250 miles from the Central Valley down over to California. And here we are, nearly 10 years later, with the California High-Speed Rail project, and they can't build a freaking railroad in 10 years. What it took 100 years ago to build.
It's even worse than that. We're gonna build a railroad basically from St. Louis, Missouri, all the way over to Sacramento, in the middle of a war, and get it done in 6 years. We're going to cross half a continent in 6 years.
Yeah, no, this country is not the same anymore. And that's basically what this election is going to come down to. That whole meme, the one from the Fairly Odd Parents that I kept putting is like, I can't afford, food or rent, that's what this election comes down to, is that do we really feel like this is America anymore? And this is honestly what it's come down to. The matter of fact is that people felt a lot more... they felt a lot more confident within the economy, and that's why we started to see a lot more investment into not just rail and other sorts of transportation, but you just saw a lot more investment into the economy as a whole between 2016 and before the coup. Okay, because after that, we just haven't really recovered since then. We're in a post-coup economy, and things haven't really gone back to the way things, if they ever will.
Yeah, it's that awkward moment. It's like, can we have the state actually be competent enough to do mass transit or a rail system or any of that stuff? No, we can't. What can the state government do? Well, we can have New York State go and break down the doors of some random guy so they can kill his pet squirrel that's been in his house for the last 7 years.
Oh, man. It's like New York, you have so many issues that you're going to. It's like maybe all the illegal migrants that are in your state. No, what about fixing up the MTA, the subway? No, okay. You know what? Let's gather up, 13 officers with, fully decked out, and go ahead and raid a guy with a pet squirrel and a raccoon. And let's kill them.
And they wonder why the internet is all against them right now.
This is the timing of this is perfect. I mean, this would be hilarious because the whole entire trajectory of the country politically could be forever changed because of the death of a squirrel and a raccoon. This is hilarious because the funny thing is that online people were just, because it goes into the election, right? Because how much power should the government have, and what should the government be doing? That's mainly been the two biggest debates in this country. To what extent and to what end? And the government of New York basically said, we're going to waste taxpayer money, and instead of going and doing the things that people have voted us to do or people have been clamoring to do, let's go ahead and waste time to go ahead and kill a squirrel, kill a raccoon.
Since they're in New York, can we pull out an age-old tradition that when we deal with corrupt government individuals or people that we just don't like, to bring out the tar and feathering?
Yeah,
and run them out of
this
town?
country hasn't. We haven't been a. We used to be a country when we had that going on. Okay, I know that what I just said right now is going to get taken out of context whenever this channel reaches 100,000 or a million at this rate. But whatever rate that this happens, it's going to be 2077 by the time I get a video back on. But regardless.
Speaking of that, Dimitri, I sent you 2 articles. One talking about Metro North getting their dual mode chargers, and another one, New Jersey Transit getting their DMU car from Austin.
Okay, so right now I got, let me see here. I got this one about Brightline over here that they're going to start the commuter rail service. So this was tied to the Tri-Rail Coastal Link that was a buzz several years ago. It feels like a long time ago, and if it does, it's almost about 8 years ago when this was really becoming a thing. A little bit more than that, but regardless, they want to use the now upgraded FEC corridor that's on the US 1 side of South Florida to go ahead and start connecting different places together. So this is what the map looks like between Aventura, which is the north end over there, to FIU Biscayne, which is what I've been going to for college or in university the last all this time, and now they want to go ahead and do it. We've been only asking for it for years and years on end, but hey, at least FIU and Biscayne at 151st is finally going to get a station. What it looks like: North Miami, Little Haiti, the Design District, Wynwood, and Miami Central. This is a pretty robust plan to get people from north to south, because this has been a corridor that's been sorely needed, because this is one of the most dangerous, if not the most dangerous road in the United States, is this eastern corridor of US 1, where you have so many accidents, and because there's so much traffic and there's so much people traveling up and down here between North Dade and Central and South Dade to get to downtown Miami. So this is a really good thing, to use what we got, use what's been built, and move forward with it. So this has been pretty good.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is you have to deal with the age-old issue of Florida man.
Yeah, which will still be an issue because, of course, and this has always been the biggest thing right now with Brightline, is that it's the most dangerous train in the country. Well, why is it the most dangerous train in the country? Does it have to do with the train itself, or does it have to do with the people around, the Floridians that keep getting in front of the train, passing the gates, or just staying there on the gates with just these fluoride stares, just staring at the train as it comes towards them and smashes them and kills them? I don't know.
No, it can't be that. It has to be the fact that there's only like 20 different rail lines throughout the entire country, and it's just statistically bad because there's so few.
People are dumb.
That's part of it.
The best way I've heard it is think of best way I've heard of it is think of the average person. Now realize half the people are dumber than that.
Oh, Dimitri, I just sent you a meme of Foreman and Brightline.
Oh man,
look at it.
It looks
fun.
like Grand Trunk also wants to join us right now.
all right, let's bring Grand Trunk in. Here we go.
But look at the meme right now. It a working meme. It's super funny.
I'm trying to get it on. Hold on, because I got a whole bunch of other stuff on here. I don't even know if my Instagram will even work on here. Hey, how's it going, Grand Trunk Line?
Hey.
Right. I'm not gonna. I might not. Probably.
You there?
I'm here. I'm just having allergies.
Oh man, yeah, I feel you. Hope you start feeling better, man. It's just that it's a change of seasons.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Don't have allergies. That's bad for your health.
Here in the state of Michigan, we get it worse.
But Dimitri, you got the meme up because it's very funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to sign in because I don't even remember what the Instagram username and password was, because it's telling me I have to be 15 years or older. It was like I'm pretty much double that at this rate. Thank you, but let me at least get in. I don't even remember the hell my even personal Instagram username was. You know, it was funny. I was speaking with my fiance yesterday. We were making fun of how they're simplifying all these logos, and the Instagram logo used to look like an actual Polaroid camera before, and now they simplified it to just this, you know, circle and dot and square. It's just like I think the last time I used Instagram was when it was the old logo. That's how long I haven't used Instagram for.
I know. The only time I use Instagram is for posting train photos and sunrises, you know?
Of what?
Because,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, reason why I wanted you to show this because it afforded me in a funny way.
Well, David, if it's a picture, you can just screenshot it, put it in the general chat.
It's a video.
It's a video. Oh man. Okay. Well, I can't get to it, and there's no way unless anybody knows a way I can get past Instagram's block or whatever. If there's some sort of website that I can just throw the link in and just get whatever it's saying, that would be nice. But
you can log in using your Facebook.
I hate logging with Facebook.
That's what I do a lot.
Let's see if this even works. I'm going to be spending half the stream here trying to log in with my Facebook.
But
do two-way authentication. Do this. Do that. Okay, no, now it's asking that I entered in a no password. No, I'm not doing this. I'm sorry. Look, next time we'll have a warning before we're gonna have links or whatever that I have to sign in for, because I keep getting asked to sign in for all these trains. Why? What's with all these paywalls? Why can't I just go ahead and see something? Oh man. But anyway.
Like it both be a Florida Man bright line train beam is what it is. That was supposed to be the theme.
Yeah, I mean it's I can imagine it. I would assume it's funny. Fortunately, we can't see it. But anyway, let me see what some of the comments are on here. Let me see. Brian Rock Rail fan, thank you for being on. Star Force 97 is also on YouTube as well. FR, America's on the edge to a civil war. It's going to be something. Something is brewing in America, whether it's going to be a full-on kinetic civil war or a whole bunch of local skirmishes or something else. Things are going to get bad. And I don't mean January 6th was nothing compared to what Central American, Latin American countries get on any random Tuesday. Give me a break. But what this country can be facing within the next couple of weeks, it's going to be a lot worse. Okay, let's be quite honest about that. It's going to be objectively worse. Shock 2957. How about a review of where all that money that Amtrak got? Where did it go? Most of it, I believe, to the Northeast Corridor. Mainly to go ahead and upgrade a lot of the trackage, some other stuff to go ahead and update. I mean, can Amtrak get more money? Can Amtrak have better usage of money? Yes, but I'm not going to go ahead and deep dive into it right now the next 5 minutes or so.
Speaking of that, not Brightline, but Dimitri, I just sent you 2 articles. One talking about Metro North getting a dual mode charge.
All right, and this is not this is a trains link, or I'm sorry, a trains.com link.
Yes.
Unfortunately, okay. Let me see what I can do to get that one, because I got the one that you sent me about Metro North.
That was one I was talking about.
All right.
Another one talking about New Jersey Transit.
Let me just read it from here so we can just all kind of see, because we can kind of understand what's going on. Metro North introduces Siemens dual mode locomotives. Okay, cool. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority on Friday introduced the first of its newest locomotive, a dual power variant of the Siemens Charger. Okay, this is new. I didn't know they had a dual power variant anyway. I thought it was only the diesel and the electrical one.
Oh,
that's pretty cool.
And also, get what else is what's new, or not new rubber, but get what rubber to get in self-propelled passenger cars. Or EMUs.
Wait, so could they start? technically, could they start using this, or have they already started using this for the Silver Star or Silver Meteor instead of just waiting in the DC station to go ahead and switch power units? Can't they just do it all in one unit?
They probably won't.
Oh, because it would only make sense.
It's based on money.
Yeah, but I remember so many times just stopping at DC, and we'd be there for a good hour or two before they switch out the units, and then there you go, you have the electrical. That old and what was the old one? What was the AC 64 something like that? I forget what the heck it was called.
Which one? The boxy one?
Yes, the old boxy one.
Oh, the AEM-7.
AEM-7, that was it. Yeah.
The toasters are what the nickname that.
Okay, and then let's keep going. New Jersey Transit introduces first of new all-star EMU cars. I will say this, at least the only good thing that the Biden administration has brought on is a good amount of grants and money that has just been splurged on a lot of these local transportation organizations to go ahead and get them new equipment and stuff, which is... It's going to happen at some point, but at least they got more money than they probably would have gotten under a Republican leadership. So, hey, take the money and run. It's at least a good thing. To what extent the money's going to be used for, I don't know. But I mean, a lot of this was already planned for years on end. So, I mean, that's at least the only good thing I can say about this administration. Whether they're staying, outgoing, whatever it is. Well, we'll know by Tuesday, but then again, they take so long to count the votes or count the votes. We probably won't know anything until next week or the week after.
Probably won't find out until 3 weeks after, probably a month, you know?
I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a full-on repeat of 2020. That's my prediction. Mainly because people have had 4 years to deal with this administration that came in, the way the economy has been, and how upset people are. That really changes the way people are going to take in what's going to be happening this week.
Demetrius, most of it is due to our own infrastructure falling apart. The grade for our infrastructure was a D-.
Yeah, and it's been a D- for at least, 20 years, according to the American Society of Civil Engineers?
Yeah. Hey, I'm not Genesis. Dimitri, I downloaded the short, and I put it on my Google Photos, and I just sent it to the community link.
Okay, you're a hero, man. Thank you. Let me go ahead and put that on, and then we'll bring Star Force onto the road over here. Let me see.
What? It's super funny.
All right. There we go. Okay. Here we are.
Like,
Okay, that is funny. Yeah, it's why would a train come in the middle of the road?
or another piece on its own.
That's hilarious. That's a good one. Oh man, it's like Oh man. Okay, that's a good one.
And here, I'm going to say that we will have a renaissance in passenger rail in the U.S. It's coming, you know?
Yeah, and I think here's the thing: a lot of the younger generation, especially whatever right wing or left wing, no matter which one, millennials and Gen Z, we all want better rail infrastructure, particularly, or better infrastructure in general. Okay, roads, bridges, tunnels, airways, whatever it is, we can be doing a heck of a lot better for a first world country. Now, of course, the main thing that we were really pushing for is for passenger rail systems in this country, particularly high-speed rail, which is something we should have been having for the last 50, 60 years. Okay, if Japan, post-war Japan, can do it, why not the United States?
I know, and you're insane.
Yeah, but you know, it's
What?
it's just it's
She's not right now. But no, instead, he thinks car is a shiny future. Like, I always bring it up. The car is a false sense of freedom. It literally made us think we should just put our handbasket on cars and plane, and look where it now got us. Uh, like, I have a friend who is now in his 80s. He told me back in the day when the cars were brand new and when the popularity was coming up, and also when the government was convincing people to do it, he literally said to people that y'all really think that a new mode of freedom and think that in the future, a lot of people said yes. And to be honest, they were kind of wrong about that because look at us now. We're now in debt. Our country is falling apart. Our homeless is through the roof. Am I right?
yeah, and I've seen this everywhere where I've gone. Doesn't matter where in the country I've been to, whether it's Springfield, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, Chicago, Oklahoma City, Los Angeles, Miami, New York, Indianapolis, wherever the heck I've been going, all over the place. You kind of see the same things over and over again. Just complete urban sprawl all over the place, failing infrastructure, failing institutions, homelessness all abound, businesses that are closing up. You're seeing a country in decline no matter where you are going. And people feel that. People internalize that and get upset. And they're going to vote accordingly to that. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to be voting the same way, or they're going to be internalizing it in some sort of different fashion or another, or blaming who or what. But regardless, the country's in trouble. It's in big trouble. And we need a change around, and we need a massive change to really bring it on. Now, either way, none of these two candidates are going to bring whichever massive change that we really do need. That's not going to happen. Not with the system of government that we have. It's too bureaucratic. It is too bogged down in its own malaise that it's not going to actually do anything because the system is going to support its own system. It's basically what we've had since FDR. It's a bureaucratic, overgrown, giant government that it's there only to keep itself alive in case of a foregone Soviet threat, which is not happening. So right now, the threat that it's turned itself on is, in a sense, the American people. And we're kind of, look, would you think an American government 50, 60, 70 years ago would be raiding somebody's house to go ahead and shoot a squirrel? Not shoot a squirrel, but euthanize a squirrel. I don't know how they euthanize the poor little thing, but regardless, this is where we're at right now. We have so many other issues to really be focusing on this country that you really have state governments really pushing a lot of effort. And again, it's a silly thing. Yes, we know it's a squirrel. It's not just about the squirrel. It's about what it represents, that this whole country is just in trouble and there's no real will to do what needs to get done. That's the problem.
Oh yeah, and also, so we keep on investing in crappy infrastructure. Like, I'm going to say this: one more lane on the road does not work.
No, absolutely not.
Go a neighborhood town for a stake behind a parking lot. That doesn't work either.
Let's see if I can.
Like, stop. Like, what I'll be on about. Stop building crappy car infrastructure just for people who like driving cars. Like, it's stupid in a way, and it's so frustrating when you just think about it, because here's my point. Is that people think, oh, the car is the future, the car is the way, it's freedom. No, it ain't. It's really not.
Yeah, when I was on my last day over at Los Angeles, I went to the Peterson Automotive Museum because that's some place I've been wanting to go for at least the last 20 years or so. I've been always wanting to go there. And they had a little exhibit on GM's Motorama and Futurama, which is a lot of what we've been talking about that has happened in this country is a result of General Motors basically getting into the pockets of the American government and pushing its version of what American infrastructure should be, rather than what it was and what it was going to be, independence of a free market. Okay, free market, you had a real true free market, or whatever what we had before in this country. You had rails, you had automobiles, you had airplanes, you had every which way that you can go about in this country, and it was fine. Now, granted, again, this country was still building itself up infrastructure wise. You did not have the greatest highways yet, but you still had the best, the best, and by far one of the most robust passenger rail systems the world had ever seen. Okay, you had steam trains that were going 120 miles an hour. Okay, and electric railroads that crossed over the Rockies throughout most of the northern United States. We don't have that anymore. But this is what GM wanted to push for the United States, and some of the stuff that we've been talking about before, like driverless cars and all that sort of stuff. They had this, and I've taken some videos when I was over there of basically an early version of what would have been a driverless car in motorways that spanned all across the country. And this is what we have. This is the version of the future that we were given in by the 1940s and 50s by General Motors, and this is what they pushed onto us. Is motorways and highways and multiple lanes of traffic all over the place. Okay, the country has not been able to keep up with that, not been able to keep up with the demand, and it doesn't work to the extent that we have it, because all you're giving people is you have one way to get to work, and it's by the car. And the car has become a luxury item at this rate, because to get a new car, the average now for a new car is $42,000, and a used car has gone up to, if I remember correctly, $25,000. Okay, before you used to get used cars for a couple thousand here or there. Gas was a lot less expensive. Now, granted, the gas is not as expensive as it was before a couple years ago, or what it could be, or as expensive as it was in California. I mean, I was seeing $5 gallon gas for 89 octane, which is ridiculous and insane, but it's California. And by the way, now California is going to be with one less oil refinery, because Phillips 66 is now leaving the LA area. So, that's the thing, is the economy is not doing so swell to be having this type of infrastructure all over the place. We can't keep building it. And look at this. Here you have, cities that they're not really dense to support this sort of infrastructure. This is what we have here. It's concrete and asphalt as far as the eye can see. Or you don't have any natural areas, or and it's just complete buildup of suburbs in order to keep pushing General Motors' vision of the United States. That's what we're living in.
And here's the thing, suburban development, and I will say this, what people don't realize, there is a connection between mental sickness and mental illnesses and suburban development, like suburbia. Like, here's the thing, most of the psychopaths we have been seeing lately, most of them live in suburban development.
Yeah.
Which speaks a lot when you just think about it.
I mean, look, architecture does have a lot to do with the way people are feeling. It says a lot about a country's... It's your barometer to a country's well-being. Because a lot of the best infrastructure that we had here, a lot of the best architecture we had in this country was from before the 1950s. Okay, I would say up to Art Deco around mid to late 1930s is probably the best and brightest of American architecture. And then you started to see a massive decline from there. You started to see Bauhaus and brutalist architecture styling, especially for a lot of government buildings. It's all these ugly, concrete, destructive. And I went to go vote, early vote Saturday. And they had us go to one of the places that I could pick, because I don't want to go anywhere in central Indianapolis. So I went over to the outskirts of Indianapolis. And it was this school district building. I don't even know if it was a school or not. I believe it was an administrative building, but it looked like a prison. It was just, these bricks. It was ugly. There was no windows. And it's just terrible. And I remember seeing the school that my dad went to in Queens when he first came to this country in the early 1960s, and the school that my mom went to in the 1950s. They look completely different. They look like a fancy library. They had nice giant windows. They had beautiful architecture and structures. As a kid, you wouldn't feel bad going to these schools. Now you're going to what looks like a prison, especially if you're in the public school system. And that's what a lot of this country has turned into. It's an ugly country. Unfortunately, that's what we have. We have an ugly country that's producing ugly people, which is why people are getting upset.
Oh, I know, and I pointed it out. Am I right?
Yeah. No kidding.
Here's the thing I'll bring up. I brought it up about a year and a half ago. It's that the car company, the airline, and when the ICC or the Interstate Commerce Commission, when they were still around, the ICC, and most people don't even realize it, but the railroads are still regulated. But back when the ICC were around, they heavily regulated the railroads, and the car company and the airline, they realized that agency doesn't govern them, so you could get what happened there with them, bribing and getting their guys into the ICC to restrict their competition. Am I right?
Yeah, it's not. We can be doing a heck of a lot better in this country. Somebody in the comments over here, Bastion. Hi from Britain. Quick question: what is Siemens quality control like chargers, etc.? Over here, the EMUs and DMUs have been middling at best. Stadler are excellent from experience. And that's from Bastion over on the YouTube comments. I haven't heard anything about any sort of quality control issues from Siemens, at least over here. It may be different because the facilities they're using to produce the ones over in the EU may be different. I know Stadler is a Swiss company, and most things from Switzerland is going to work perfectly fine. I mean, I don't know how much military surplus I have over from Switzerland, but that stuff just keeps on kicking. And it's the fall, it's Alpenfall season, so if you see some guy in central Indiana hiking in the woods in Alpenfalls, it's probably me. But regardless, I haven't heard anything in terms of shutdowns from Siemens chargers or anything like. I mean, most of the stuff that I hear from Florida regarding the Siemens locomotives are basically shutdowns because people keep hitting them. And yes, people keep hitting the trains. Not the trains don't keep hitting people because the train is on a track. Okay, people driving the cars, getting on top of the tracks. That's what's messing it up. But anyway, has anybody else heard anything about any quality control issues from Siemens, from Amtrak, or anywhere that they've been hearing?
Oh yeah.
No,
Oh yeah.
not for sure.
Grand Trunk Line, you're saying, oh yeah. What's oh yeah?
Like there have been complaints from rail fans that the frame under the locomotive tends to freeze up and causing technological shutdown, mainly in coal regions.
That's interesting. I gotta see. Is there anything been documented or anything about that?
That happened in older chargers, but the newer chargers, they work perfectly fine.
Okay, David, you heard anything?
Nope. And heck, the chargers around here, and I caught them in on video. They work great.
Okay, so maybe it just has to do with cold weather, and maybe they weren't cold weather proof before, but now they've been able to fix that. Okay, so that's something. Let's bring in Babsy over here, or Fabian.
And Demetrius, this is one thing I do like to bring up is that you even talked about it in your old video from 2017, or not 2017, but like around 2015, 2016, on who really took money from the railroad and gave it to the competition, and that was the government. Am I right?
Yeah, that's what happened. There was a massive amount of taxes that were taken away from the railroad companies post World War II and in through the 1950s, that some of them were getting taxed of upwards of 80% of a tax rate, to the point that a lot of them started to either come together or consolidate because they could not survive by themselves or they were being shut down. And by the mid 1960s, you basically had either skeleton crews running passenger rail systems or the passenger rail services from these now consolidated larger railroad companies being completely shut down just in lieu of freight. So they were just running freight railroads. And that's what happened to a lot of the passenger rail systems. And then you had Amtrak come about in 1971 through the Nixon administration. And that was mainly there on the belief that a lot of these passenger railroad systems would be dead and gone in a couple of years. This is just a transitory phase. We're just going to keep Amtrak here to just, keep along for these passenger rail systems until nobody uses them anymore. But here we are in 2024, and people are still using passenger trains in the United States and only want more of it. So it just goes to show you that, we were in the wrong, or our country and our leaders were in the wrong, because we definitely didn't vote for it, and we didn't even have a chance to vote for it. Heck, we weren't even alive at the time. So why even talk about it?
Let me be honest. If the government had not took money from the railroad from the late 40s through the 50s, all the way up until the 70s, we should have had high-speed rail by now. Heck, a lot of rail systems would have been still intact. Oh,
I mean, funny enough, in 1965, there was an act of the U.S., I believe it was called the U.S. High-Speed Rail Act in 1965. I may be wrong on the naming, but we did have an act that was passed down mainly because we saw, or a lot of Americans saw what Japan was doing and said, maybe we should be doing the same thing over here. And nothing was really acted upon on that. So, yeah, you can have laws and stuff passed through. Again, it comes down to political will. This country does not have the necessary political will to do what is necessary. You see China doing it. China was able to build within the 8 years of the Obama administration, which Obama was saying, by 2020, 80% of Americans will have access to high-speed rail. And didn't happen. What did China do? China will build. China built more than double of all of the world's high-speed rail systems, of trackage double in China within that same span of time. So, yeah, you can't tell me that we can't do it, or we don't have the will to do it, or we don't have, we don't have the necessary resources to do it. Look at California. California can't even build high-speed rail there. It's going to take a Florida privatized passenger rail system to go ahead and build between Las Vegas and the Los Angeles area to finally get what California's been asking for. What voters voted on in Proposition 1A, they voted for high-speed rail line between San Francisco and Los Angeles. That probably may not be happening.
Here's the reason why it's taking it so long is because we have the airlines and the car companies. They have lobbyists in their pocket. And heck, some of the airlines have managed to get their guys into lobbyists and into Congress to control everything. Like, what some people don't realize is that the airlines and the car companies, they've been lobbying against rail since the 1950s through the 60s.
Yeah.
And they also managed to make it hard. Like, we've seen what happened in Texas back in the 1980s. We've seen how they did in Florida back in the early 2000s, and they tried to do back in 2014, and that backfired on them. And we see what they're trying to do right now. Like, common sense would tell you, hey, the people who are really keeping the country down have connection with the airlines and the car companies.
Yeah, and that's what we've noticed, especially as time goes on and we start to get older, is that the game is rigged. And the truth is, the game was rigged from the start. To quote something from the Mojave area, speaking of California. But no, seriously, that's the problem, is that the game has been rigged. There is no sort of free market system that we've been taught to believe that we have here in this country. And what we have is this quasi corporatocracy that is running the country to keep things at a status quo that is helpful to them, not necessarily at all to what the country can or is capable of doing, or what our people can be doing. Because let's put it that way. We have so much capacity here to be building our own and import and not importing everything, but we can be growing our own food, healthy food. Which is why I really like that they included RFK into the Trump team. But that's all I'll say about that, because I do believe that that's extremely important. What we're putting in our bodies is extremely important. We could be building our own infrastructure over here. I mean, look, if Korea can build high-speed rail, and there's plenty of countries that have been able to do this through precast span methods, which means in a factory they build out these spans that will be on high-speed rail, or not just high-speed rail, but any sort of rail lines. Heck, we could do it for highways if we wanted to, right? These precast span methods, okay, so they can be built in a factory by American labor, then shipped over to wherever they're going to be built or assembled, and in these countries like China and Korea, and even in Spain, they can build a mile a day of high-speed rail. You tell me that we can't do that in this country? That's a load of baloney. We can be doing so much more, building our own infrastructure, building our own automobiles to a heck of a better degree than we are doing right now, building our own phones, building our own computers, building our own chips. Okay, we could have been building that for years. Okay, instead of sending everything offshoring it, we can be onshoring it and doing it over here. It comes down to political will. Why? Because it's cheaper for these companies to go ahead and do it offshore. And we got to say enough is enough.
And Demetrius, I'm about to say this, but here, Giger, in our life, we're heathen power. That's for sure. The a-hole.
David, you're cutting in and out, man. I can't hear you.
80 year because we have technology now on the internet. We are.
Okay.
Now and spread these people. Hey, no.
David, unfortunately, you're cutting in and out. I'm getting a little bit here and there. I'm hearing that these a-holes have been in power for a long time and nothing has changed under the rule. Is that what I'm getting?
I know. Hold on. Let me be right back.
No worries. Let's hear from somebody else. Fabian seems to be new over here. Fabian, welcome aboard.
Just want to mention, what about the designs? When I looked at the 50s, European locomotives looked very different than American ones. Do you know what I mean? Like the classic trains?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the steam trains and the diesels that we had before were definitely a heck of a lot better than what we have now. I mean, example I have behind me is that Hiawatha F7. Yeah, I mean, look, we just had such a better design. The design language that we had before in this country was just so much better because you still had that manifest destiny that was still inherent in American culture that also had to reflect in the designs of the buildings, of the architecture, of the cars that we had. I mean, heck, even the cars that we had in the 1930s and 40s just looked so much better than what we have today. It just reflects on the different class. I mean, not just the designs, but also the way people dressed. I mean, it was just such a different time because honestly, a lot of people, I think they're just demoralized. It just goes to show. I mean, heck, in the background over here, I have the tracks bar from the LA Union Station, and you compare that to stations that we build today, and it's not the same thing. You don't feel this sort of vibe that you get from this is something more. This is something that aspires to greatness. You don't have that anymore in modern architecture design.
Yeah, everything looks like the same.
Oh yeah.
If you precise, a charger from the US division of Siemens is not looking very different than a Vectron from Germany. They look pretty much the same.
Yeah, I mean that's the same. They're just kind of rehashing and repasting the same designs, and I get it. It's cheaper for them to do it that way and to just use the parts bin of stuff that they have over from Germany, bring them over to the United States, and then go ahead or whatever, rehash the same designs to keep Buy America compliant over here. But I mean, there's just so much more that we can be doing, and I guarantee that what Siemens is going to bring between Las Vegas and California is going to probably look very similar to the design of the ICE3 over Germany.
Yeah, I see Neo. Probably.
Yeah, it's a newer model year, but it's nothing. It's not like a Pennsylvania GG1 or something. I mean, even look at what the Japanese are doing. I mean, these crazy designs that they have with their Shinkansens. I mean, radically different between 10 to 20 years ago for what they used to have. I mean, they went. You have the extremely utilitarian design of the SC Maglev that is just completely made for aerodynamics versus something like the E7 Hayabusa, which looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. I mean, there's nothing that looks like that anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
All right, and let's bring David back on and Renell Reed. But thank you for bringing it up, Fabian, because that's definitely something I agree with. It's just I mean, not just newer and older designs, but I mean, they're just using the same global design language for everything that they're using aboard. It would be nice if they can bring something else. I doubt that they would, but it's as long as we get something over here, it's better than nothing at this rate. That's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah. Hey, sorry about that.
You hear me?
I had to leave the call there
loud and
for
clear.
a minute.
And yeah, David, I can hear you perfectly clear now. You're good to go.
And Demetrius,
What?
you hear me?
Yeah, Renell, loud and clear.
All right.
Okay.
What I was trying to say is that in our lifetime, we might see power because the reason why is because we got technology now like the internet, and we can connect to people and communicate. Also, our generation is one in transit, so we're fed up with the guided show, and the people who are running it, our country into the ground, like the people running it into the ground, are mostly between their 60s and their 80s right now. So the people who are running the country into the ground, they're slowly losing power as we get older.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And I think Demetrius.
Go ahead.
And I think Demetrius did a video of like the investigation, like who's trying to stop all aboard Florida, and he exposed the automobile and airline industry.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what we can see is that, especially look, and it's older individuals, right? They grew up in a world where the train was on the way out, and they can't really imagine a world that existed before then. With the internet now that we've grown up with the internet, we can be able to see not only what was possible and what has been done, but what is possible on the other side of the planet. And if we can see that and actually go ahead, like I did, to go ahead and visit that and just say, hey, it's possible we can build it here. Look, we're all flesh and blood. We're human beings. We can build it. And not only that, as Americans, we've been able to build stuff that no one else had been able to build. I mean, we look at all these great projects that we had before. I mean, talking about, if we want to visit back in LA, like I said, the LA aqueduct. Again, this was built in the early 1910s. Okay, from 1908 to about 1913. Okay,
the Pennsylvania tunnels were built in the 20s.
Exactly, the Pennsylvania, the tunnels to Penn Station, through the Hudson, multiple tunnels throughout the United States. The overseas railroad. We're talking about stuff that was built at the turn of the century, and here we are, more than 100 years later. And I know we keep saying 100, but it's been more than 100 years, guys. Okay, 100 years ago was 1924. Okay, here we are. In 2024, we can't build it.
Mm-hmm. And I think they took like maybe a year to build the Pennsylvania tunnels back in the 1910s.
They took about, I think for some of the tunnels or one of them, they took about 3 years. But yeah, for a capacity of 24 vehicles per, or 24 trains per hour. Sorry, not vehicles. So 24 trains per hour, and it's only
It's gonna take Amtrak till 2035 or so to redo them.
Yeah, not just Amtrak, because whatever whoever the construction companies have been contracted between the state of New Jersey and New York, and all the other transit authority that are involved, all the other authorities that are involved with the project, that are going to be contracting out. But here's the other thing: is that instead of what used to be done before, was they wanted to get it done as soon as possible and as best as they could as possible. Now you have the sort of legalized construction fraud that, oh, we can get it in between Q1 we're planning this, Q2 we're planning that, and year 1 and 2 and this and that. So they're planning out as far much as they can, so they can be able to collect as much money as possible throughout the entire process. Because if you're going to a state government that can basically get a blank check because it's tied to the Federal Reserve and they can just print out as much money as they want, well, you can sit there and, do the bare minimum to get by. Heck, if you get a complaint if you do the bare minimum at work in a private company, but a private company contracted by the government can go ahead and do the bare minimum and steer on by.
Oh yeah.
What was it that they call it at work now when you're like, what is it, quiet quitting? You basically have all these corporations that, get a government contract for billions of dollars and then quiet quit the whole way through.
Oh yeah. And here's
They
something
move
else.
as slow as molasses.
Yeah. I mean, a road project that can be done in a week doesn't, it takes, years.
Oh, and it's just crazy. Now, I will bring that up if they just started doing it at my workplace with, our new boss. They're right now cracking down on people doing overtime and working hard over people who are literally being lazy. They want to crack down on the hard workers, but not on the lazy people.
Yeah, because it costs them money. You're trying to work hard. You're trying to bring yourself a bigger paycheck so you can feed your family. That these companies don't like that. They want you to be as bare minimum as possible so that they can get rid of you really quickly and put somebody else that's next on board that's going to be earning $1 less, and they'll keep doing that. But anyway, guys, we're getting close to the end over here. Let's get some final thoughts in. I know it's going to be a crazy week, but here I'll end it here. David, any last words? 30 seconds.
I hope more commuter lines pop up in the next decade. That's for sure.
All right, we'll get there. Minor Tree, any last words? All right, Renell, any last words?
Yes, I heard you guys talking about Shinkansens and different train designs like Bright Line West or California. I had hoped California would have the Japanese trains as their pick of choice.
Yeah, the Japanese haven't been doing such a good job lobbying here in the United States because they don't understand the game, and that's unfortunate. They think that it's a meritocratic society here in the United States, and it's not. It's whoever can get to the pockets of the senator the local senators is who's going to win. And that unfortunately, you can have the best technology, you can have the best stats and logic available, but not going to work here in the United States as it currently is right now. It would have worked, but not now. But it's unfortunate. But anyway, Star Force 97. Any last words? Okay. Minor Tree's having some audio technical issues over there, but all right. Anyway, guys, it's 8:59. I think we'll be able to end it here right on time, right on the dot, as I said. But it's going to be a crazy week this week, guys. Don't just be careful. If you don't, avoid the cities if you can, especially come Tuesday, depending on whichever way it goes. it's gonna be pretty crazy. So hopefully, yeah, just stay safe. And look, I think, as much as we, get upset about the way things are on this channel, time is on our side. We all want a better world. We all expect better of our systems, of our governors, of our governance. So we'll get there. We'll get there at some point. And if it's not this generation, let's put it this way: if it's not the generation that's currently in charge that will be able to change to get them to do what we need them to do, when we get in charge, because eventually we will. These guys cannot live forever. As much as you see them, I mean, they have bags coming down their eyes. They're in Congress until they're 97 and they croak in Congress. Okay, they cannot last forever. Time is on our side. We will get there. Exactly, Bastion. We'll outlive them. All right, so guys, we'll get there. All right, so Godspeed. You're saying, David?
Enjoy.
Yep, exactly. Okay, enjoy the show. Again, regardless of what happens, we're gonna be okay because things are shifting over to our side. Things are shifting over to the way that we're thinking here. So no matter what, no matter who wins or is selected, elected, whatever, we're gonna win in the end. Okay, so just stay safe there, guys. Okay, so Godspeed, take care, and we will see you on board next time. God bless.
Bye.
Goodbye.